Mr. Hufferkamp,
Here.
Ms. Johnson,
Here.
Ms. Roberts,
Here.
Mr. Schindler is not here, Mr. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Young.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Here, please join me for a moment of silence. And please remember Mike Rahill, who was a member of our land use board that passed away recently. You join me for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
The United States of
Republic,
America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible,
liberty and
liberty and
justice for
justice
all.
for all.
Thank you. We don't have any proclamations, and we will start with committee reports. Dawn, start with you.
Okay. I just want to remind everyone that the Journey Bus will be here on Tuesday, May 25th from 1 to 3, and they will be offering food and baby supplies. If you don't make it that day, the 25th, the Journey Bus will return on Tuesday, June 8th, the same time from 1 to 3 in the parking lot outside the community center. We also have openings in the yoga meditation session, which takes place on Tuesday, June 8th from 5 to 6 p.m. If you would like to join that class, feel free to call the center and we'll get you a spot. Also, this past weekend, there was a grand opening of a community center, Hope and Serenity Recovery Community Center in Sparta. We are looking to partner with them. What they would like to do is a pop-up support group, kind of like what the county was doing here before COVID and is no longer doing. Hope and Serenity Recovery Community Center is willing to do pop-up support groups here at this community center. We're working on the details. We have a meeting on Friday, and I'll be happy to update everyone on our next council meeting. Also, if anyone feels led, we are accepting donations of baby diapers, size 3 or up, size 3 and up. So if anyone would like to donate those to the center, we sure could use them. That's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Good job. Brad, you're up.
Mayor, just an update on the new Jefferson Field Dog Park. I want to thank Ron Tappan and Superintendent Pat Mason for meeting with me this morning to set up a time frame and layout of the dog park, which will now have 2 parking areas for owners who come by car. You will see more activity in the next several weeks prior to the fence being installed. I would also like to thank Aiden Poland for his efforts to fabricate many of the items that will inhabit the dog park, to include benches, hurdles, ramps, and a culvert with a bridge. This work and fundraising will help Aiden in qualifying him as an Eagle Scout. We are looking at the end of June to be close to the opening. It may occur sooner. Next, I would like to thank our volunteers on the EC's Beautification Committee, who this last Saturday planted the areas around the Borough Hall with flowering plants. Over the summer, you will see the fruits of their labor bloom not only at Borough Hall, but in other areas around the town. And if I can ask Ron to put up the first slides, I'd just like to show everyone. Ron's on mute there. I don't know if he heard me or not, but
Yeah, hold on one second.
No problem. I'll go
right now. Here we go.
I'll go ahead and start.
How's that?
On a different matter, I'd like to thank Chairman Ron Smith along with the Lake Hopatcong Commission on the work being done at Crescent Cove by Princeton Hydro and industrial environmental contractors. After over a decade, the aquafilter chambers are being cleaned out with several containers of debris being removed with assistance by the Hopatcong DPW. After cleaning, new aquachar filters will be installed to absorb harmful phosphorus and to prevent it from entering the Lake Hopatcong. Bear in mind that phosphorus 8 is created for the HAB bacteria to start. The work, which began on Monday, is set to be completed this coming Monday. Ron, I appreciate that. And if you can put up the last one with Mr. Klein. Lastly, I'd like to invite everyone who can make our Memorial Day ceremony on May the 29th at 11 a.m. This ceremony will include our honorees from the Hopatcong Hometown Hero Program. Some of you may have noticed the banners going up today along Hopatcong Road, and I'd like to thank Steve Million and his crew for that. In addition, one of our honorees in attendance this year's ceremony will be 95-year young veteran Corporal Robert B. Klein, as pictured there, United States Army, who served during World War II. Please come out to say thank you. That's all I got, Mayor.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Ron.
You're very welcome. Bradley, you're very welcome.
You're on, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, a couple of things from Recreation. We had our meeting the other night. Street hockey is going well. However, there was some vandalism down at the street hockey rink. The nets were slashed, some graffiti done. So next year, we'll probably be purchasing new nets. Summer learning sessions, it's still early, but registrations are starting to come in. We have about a dozen so far. We had conversation about the Memorial Day ceremony, which is, as Brad said, is at 11 o'clock. And we talked about some budget items for some of the upcoming events. From Municipal Alliance, we talked about hidden in plain sight that the county was doing, and so far we haven't seen anything. We were supposed to get a special invitation, but I don't know what's happening with that. Hero Boys, the signups are ongoing now. We have 16 boys signed up so far. It's still early. Normally we get about 40. We had conversation about Terry bags, medication disposal bags. There's also another company that does them called Meds Away. And I don't know if we're going to be able to afford to purchase them and give them out specifically to seniors. But what they are is a bag that you put medication in that you haven't used, and they come in different sizes depending on how many pills you put in them. But you put them in a bag, you put a little bit of water in them, and now you can throw them away in the garbage because whatever's in the bag neutralizes them. So it's fairly interesting. We'd like to do that. We have to see where that's going. We do have some movies in the park, or I call them movies in the parking lot, coming up in June. Right, tentative dates, don't quote me on this, are June 11th and 25th, and also July 2nd. And something else that came to the Alliance, and I believe, I'm not even 100% sure who's sponsoring it. I believe it's a group effort by some local churches, but they have, it's titled, Who Are You Really? And the guest speaker is Lee Roussan, who does a lot of motivational speaking in the area. If you're not familiar with who Lee Roussan is, he is a retired NFL football player, played with the Giants for several years. And I think he played with the Browns as well. He was on the Super Bowl, the 2 Super Bowl champion teams from that era. That is Saturday, June 12th, 2021. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be held outdoors in the mall parking lot that has the Sussex, they call it the Sussex County Mall. It's where Harbor Freight is. So it sounds like a very good thing. He'll be speaking about societal concerns, addiction, racism, anger, and identity crisis. He has spoke to our Hero Boys several times. So he's a very good speaker. So I'm looking forward to that. If you are looking to attend, you just have to bring a chair, and there'll be a question and answer period afterwards. And again, I'm not sure who's sponsoring it. It came to us, and I'm looking to promote it, or help promote it, I should say. And lastly, from the Environmental Commission, we have one event coming up that I wanted to highlight, National Trails Day Guided Walk on June 5th, 10 a.m. And it'll be guided by 2 members of the Audubon Society. The focus will be on birds and trees of the area. It is limited to 25 people. It'll be done in the Roland Eves Sanctuary area. it is, as I said, it's limited to 25 people. So if you're interested in going, you need to email Jewel Gurman from the Environmental Commission. Her email is jgurman, GIRMEN @hopatcong.org. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Ryan, you up?
Okay, the next COVID-19 Sussex County State of Affairs briefing is this Friday, May 21st. The Expo 2021 from the Sussex County Chamber of Commerce has been scheduled for Wednesday, June 23rd. It's going to be held at the fairgrounds. The Chamber of Commerce, our local Chamber of Commerce, met last Friday. We discussed the Hopatcong marketplace opening up soon, and we discussed the marijuana legislation and what we're planning on doing about the zoning about that. Up at the Sussex County MUA, paper shredding is this Friday at in the morning, May 21st. Next e-waste event is this Saturday on the 22nd, and the hazardous household waste event is June 5th. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Jan, you're up.
All right. Hi, everybody. How are you? Beautiful weather we're having. The only report that I have is from the school committee. We are in half days as per the letter from Superintendent Art DiBenedetto until the rest of the year. And just to kind of pump up what John just said about Lee Roussan, he is an amazing speaker. He is engaging. He is motivational. He is absolutely incredible. So if you can get out to see that, I'm going to try. I know I have baseball that day, but I'm going to try and get out to see that because he is just an absolutely phenomenal speaker. So thank you for sharing that. That's all.
Thank you, Jen. Administrative report, Ron?
Michael, Mayor, thank you, sir. And Bradley, thank you for all the kind comments on the DPW helping out. Yeah, the Crescent Cove project is going very well. I was just amazed at the stuff over the last years that they've taken out of that place. It was just tons and tons and tons of material that was in that filtering system. And it was no doubt in my mind, nothing in there was working at all to help filtration in the lake. It was just clogged up to the one guy. I tell you just a small story about it. One guy was in on one of the main chambers. He was standing in the manhole, and he's halfway up standing on the street. When he finished cleaning up, the top of his head was 16 feet down. So he cleaned out a massive amount of materials of those filters that had just been clogged up for years and years and years. So it's a very good effort at that end of the lake to help out. And hopefully when they put the new media in, it does a lot to help filtration of the phosphorus coming down if there's any there. So we hope everybody in a collaborative means, test that and see the positive aspects of that. John, Councilman Young, to your point of the damage on the skate parks, I just want to let you know in our budget, the capital budget this year, the finance committee allowed us to put more monies in to put cameras in. So as I will not tell where those cameras are going to be, we do have cameras that will cover both the skate park, the rink, and that entire area over there, including the gas pumps over to DPW. Those servers were put in today. So as the capital money is not released yet because we're in the memorialization of the reading of it last meeting, when that capital's ready, we'll be ready to put the cameras there. And there's an extensive camera system going over in Modic Park as well. So to let you know that we're putting eyes on this now because we're frustrated and having to fix all the problems. So we want to try to get down to the root cause of all that. And sir?
I was just going to say thank you. And I did inform the rest of the commission and the people there that that was on our radar, increased surveillance. So
yes. No, you're very welcome. It's long overdue. And lastly, I just want to report on courts. Courts were scheduled to have their first live court this Monday. At the very end, the defendants canceled and we weren't allowed to, but Judge Smith has graciously told that the Hopatcong courtroom is set up perfectly and it met all the requirements that he was looking for, and he used it as a best practice in his other courts to set up for live court sessions. So good job to our court administrator and their employees there. My DPW guys that built all the, the droplet security measures and the layout of the room. We did very well with that, and the court and Judge Smith is using that as a best practice. So stay tuned. We will more than likely see more live court sessions coming up very soon. I got an email from Aaron today saying it's on the radar. We're going to start having court again. So, Mayor, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting for public comment.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Comments are limited to one comment of no more than 5 minutes. Do your thing, Ron.
Okay, everyone that would like to speak, go to your reaction bar at the bottom right and raise your hand, and I'll bring you in as I see them come in. Thank you. Oh. Mayor, I don't see any, but wait a minute. Mayor Modes is coming in.
Hi,
Mary, Mara, you're up.
thank you. I'd just like to acknowledge Mike Rahill's passing and his years of service to CERT, the veterans organizations, the Land Use Board, and to the rest of our community. And to say that we'll miss him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any more?
Mayor, I don't see anybody, but if I could add one more thing, I just want to tell the council, you'll see on the ordinance that that 130 West End is back on the agenda for the first reading. It was on the last auction. The group that wanted to buy it got miscommunication on who was actually going to buy the property, but they are in concert now. So we have to have the first reading again, the second reading, and then the auction will be the second meeting in June. That's why you're seeing this property again on the auction. So I just want everybody to know that's why it's there.
Are there any more hands up?
Nope.
Back.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Mayor.
Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of May 5th, 2021.
Mayor, I'll move the minutes as written.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-80, approval of the bills list.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone need anything removed or discussed? Not hearing or seeing any, Mayor, I will move the bill list in its entirety.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Approval of the consent agenda.
There is no consent agenda this evening.
Okay, don't need that. Introduction of ordinance 14/2021, authorization for the auction of borough-owned property, an ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, and more commonly known as 130 West End Avenue, Block 11009, Lot 19.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
When's the final, Valerie?
First week, the first meeting in June.
Okay. Ordinance 15/2021, salary ordinance, and ordinance establishing a minimum and maximum range of salary and compensation for certain titles of officers and employees of the Borough of Hopatcong.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
This is the final hearing. Ordinance 12/2021, authorization for the auction of borough-owned property. An ordinance of the Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the borough and not required for public purposes, more commonly known as 32 Tuff Trail, 12 Keith Road, 24 Staten Trail, 214 Knox Way, and 210 Brown Trail. How are we gonna do that, Bob?
So, excuse me, Mayor?
This is the final hearing. Oh, it's not
Yes.
the auction.
It's not the, yeah, this
No,
is just
okay.
authorize the auction.
All right, I'll entertain a
Right.
motion.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
We have to open to the public first, Mayor.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? We're open to the public for questions and comments. Hearing none?
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're back. Auction date, Valerie?
At the next meeting.
June 2nd, Mayor.
June 2nd. Okay.
I need a motion and a second to adopt.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thought we did that already, but okay.
No, that was to open to the public.
Yeah.
Open to the public.
All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Ordinance 13, 2021, amending Chapter 108 fees for land use applications and ordinance of Borough of Hopatcong, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 108 fees.
So moved.
Second.
Open to the public?
Mm-mm. This is the first reading, isn't it?
No.
No, this is the second reading.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is, okay.
I'll move to open it to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're open to the public. Hearing none?
Move to bring it back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-81, 2021 management salaries.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-82, authorization for a shared service agreement with Stanhope for street sweeping.
I'll move it, but I have a question once we have a second.
Sure, who second?
I'll second.
Go ahead, John.
I'm just curious, are we sending a man with our machine or is our machine going to be used by Stanhope?
It'll be our personnel.
Yeah, Councilman, our personnel will be running it all the time.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yep. And that is included in the cost to Stanhope.
I kind of assumed that, but
Yeah.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
yes.
Resolution 2021-39, authorization for the acceptance of a grant agreement from the Morris County Joint Insurance Fund for police accreditation.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Thank you. Old business? We have one new business, the appointment of Jonathan Taylor to the Land Use Board as alternate number 2 through 12/31/2021.
Mary, you have alternate number 4 on the agenda, just so you know.
That's a typo. He's
That's a
alternate
typo.
number 2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What should it be?
2.
Alternate number 2.
2.
I have new business question, if I may.
Sure.
I sent an email out today about a property that's been condemned for 9 years over on Lakeside Ave. I haven't gotten a response from, I got a response from one of the bills who's going to go out there and look at the structure. But we have a ordinance, chapter 78, that states that the homeowner is given 30 days notice and a demolition hearing is held, and then the property is demolished either within those 30 days by the property owner or by the town, and then a lien is placed on the property. It's been well past the 30 days. It is an eyesore. I drove down there yesterday, and while the property is kept up, the house is, there's no floor, well, I can't speak. There's no walls and there's no ceiling. And there's a tree growing out of the top of the house. I wanted to see what recourse that we have to get this home demolished. I understand that there's a budget issue, that we used to put money aside for demolitions and condemned homes, but that's not happening any longer, and it hasn't happened in the last 18 years. My email pretty much stated that the loss of tax revenue on this property is greater than the cost of the demolition to the town. The gentleman is paying $750 a year in taxes. The person that is directly behind him is paying over $12,000 a year in taxes. Now, he's got a beautiful home and he's right on the water, so I get the difference. But you know, we have rules and laws and ordinances in place, and to have this go for 9 years, I just have a question as to how it got this far and what can be done now.
How come I didn't get that email?
You know what, Mike, I was going to forward it to you, and I'm sorry. I will forward it to you as soon as the meeting's over. I apologize. You're absolutely right.
There's a process with this, and it's frustrating. Actually, to give you a little backstory, I have a piece of property that we've been given a daily summons on for maintenance that should be demoed, that should be. I spoke to the prosecutor about it and the courts. Right now, they're not going to do that. It's a legal process. I would like for people to, on a good day, rehabilitate their property. So rather than pull the trigger and say, just knock the damn thing down, maybe we can encourage people to rehabilitate it if possible. Our building code official should be in charge of this, which I believe he is. But again, it's just not, okay, you exceeded this date. Now it's got to come down. Exceeded this date, it goes into the courts. I'd rather spend time trying to get it rehabilitated or get the owner to voluntarily do something rather than take it to the court, because this is like eminent domain. You tell someone I'm gonna knock your house down, you damn well better have a judge's order to do that. I don't care what our ordinance says. Our ordinance triggers that. That's what it does.
But you're talking about 30 days and 9 years. I mean, to me, there's a happy medium where in the last 9 years, the only thing that this gentleman has done is removed the water from the basement. And so what is going on? And not only that, but this, well,
I get that, but you have to know it's not as simple as we'd all like it to be. What I'm trying to say is, if he does one thing to improve it, that weakens your argument for a judge to give the order. And so it's got to be a court order. And so I'll work on that. I'll work very hard to expedite that. But when stuff like this starts to materialize, I need to know about that right away, so I can, well, the first thing I'll do is check with the prosecutor and see where we are legally. The first thing I ask is, where are we with the statute? Not just ours, state and federal, you know. And so there are remedies for this. And so it's up to our leadership, it's up to our administration to make sure that this happens, and we will. So, that we're going to do the very best we can. Hopefully we can get some volunteer happen. And what I worry about more with this is not just how it looks, but it could become a health issue. And my experience with and we've had a lot of experiences such as this in town. We're far from perfect with this, but we've been when it comes to be a health issue, we've been pretty good at doing that. Because what I do is I get the county involved also, and so it's not just it looks bad, it could be very unhealthy.
Well,
So,
I know Bill was going over there, Donegan, the zoning official, was going over there actually, I think he was there today because the windows in the house are wide open. There's no screens and the windows are wide open. So I know he went over for that today. And I know that Bill O'Connor explains to me in depth, the reason why, and I get that. But if you're going to have an open place, right?
Well, that's the box that we have to work in, John. We have to work inside that box. Otherwise, we do have a constitution. We do have private property ownership, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense to who we have to run through. I volunteered to take the machine and help expedite it, but in today's world, we can't. So we will remedy it. We will remedy it in the fashion that we're supposed to, I think. And so I'd like to do it tomorrow, but unfortunately, like I say, I have a case now with property maintenance, and if I told you what it was, you would know instantly that it looked like it looked really, really bad. It looked like an outhouse. I'm trying to keep it clean, but it stuck. It was stuck with daily. I bet you they have 100 fines so far, 100 violations, literally, maybe more. And so we'll start with violations. We start with the process, and people finally get it that it's cheaper just to fix it up, knock it down, or because we're going to start issuing violations, and that's what we do, and that gets people's attention. So we will expedite it, though.
Right. Only because it's only condemned, or it's already condemned.
It doesn't matter. That's just a title. But when it comes to the actual pulling the trigger on it, it becomes illegal. It becomes a legal issue. We have an ordinance that says we can do eminent domain too. That doesn't mean anything.
No,
it means you got to get a court order. And right now, the Superior Court doesn't look kindly on any kind of property activity. I had that conversation 2 days ago. They frustrate the hell out of me. So yes, we will work very hard on at least making it safer and maybe making it rehabilitated.
And I will forward you that email. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Mayor, I've just got one comment back on the appointment for the alternate number 2. I believe the ordinance requires a vote on that. Section 28-3. So it may be appropriate this time to entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Jonathan Taylor to the Land Use Board as alternate number 2.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hoppercamp,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
Yes.
Not
Mayor Francis, may I add another point to new business?
sure.
Any thoughts as to when we're going to go back to in-person? We've got 16, 17, 18, 19 people on this meeting. I would very much like to go back to in-person meetings. It's as soon as we can.
Here, here.
So noted. I'll get back to you on that.
I asked at the beginning, Ryan.
I'll get back to you on that. It's,
Common theme tonight.
your point is well taken. So any more new business? All right, I don't have much to say tonight, but COVID cases in Hopatcong, I am so proud of our town. We've been at 1591, 1592 for the past 8 days.
Yeah.
They confused me a little bit. It was 1592. Then I got email saying it's 1591. Might be stated the wrong way, but we've been stable for at least 7 days in our town. That's the first time that I can remember since this nonsense all started. So the vaccinations are working. Hopefully people are becoming a little bit more intelligent, I hope. But I have to praise our people for being careful, wearing their masks like they should, and it shows. And it shows, and I'm very grateful for that. Again, like Brad mentioned, the chambers should be cleaned by Monday in Crescent Cove. I'll tell you a story about them. About 4 or 5 years ago, you had a visit from the DEP saying, well, you have to clean your chambers out. And I said, no, they're not my chambers. And they said, yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. And I said, well, you know what? Next time you come tell me that, bring your lawyer with you. And they spent 4 days looking through our records, our council minutes, and they could not find anywhere where we agreed to do that. So now it's being done by the state, which like it should have been 12 years ago. So this is about 12 years late or thereabouts. And so I'm thankful that they're doing it, and I appreciate that. It's definitely going to help Crescent Cove. And so that's important to note that. We have applied for a grant for our skate park. I don't know how well we're going to do with it, but the skate park is on our radar. If we don't get the grant, we'll start allocating some amount of capital towards rehabilitating that park. We might just do one feature at a time. We'll see what our budget looks like. We fully intend to rehabilitate the skate park. And I have to say, as John mentioned with the other parks, there's a few dummies that ruin it for everybody. I don't know what's in their head that they have to come and destroy a piece of property or cut a net or break a hole in a ramp. It just escaped me, but we will have surveillance. I will not tell you where the cameras are, but if we catch someone, I will prosecute to the full extent of the law. Enough of this. You spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars fixing stuff, and you get some idiot in 1 or 2 evenings that undo all that and ruin it for 100 other kids. So I want to give that message that we will take that seriously. We'll keep fixing it up because I think the majority deserve that. Cub Scout Pack 194 came and visited me at Town Hall last Friday night. We had a ball. And I love our scouts. I just love them to death. They asked me all kinds of questions. They asked me how rich I was and where I came from, and if I loved my wife. And then we went outside and looked at the 9/11, and I told them the story about 9/11. And a lot of them didn't know it. I think we need to start educating our kids about. I just said, a couple of bad guys crashed an airplane into the Twin Column and killed a lot of our people and volunteers. And then they got a little serious about that. But I told them a little bit about the survivor tree, and we had a good time. So the survivor tree is planted in Fireman's Park. It is planted. Well, it'll be a big deal, but there's a story about that. And in October 2001, for those of you who don't know the story, a severely damaged calorie pear tree was discovered at Ground Zero. It had snapped roots, it was burned, it had broken branches. The tree was removed from the rubble, placed in the care of New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. It was moved from Ground Zero and sent to a nursery in the Bronx. Even though it was still alive in the hands of caring professionals, there was still little hope. They didn't think it would survive. For years, New York's Arthur Ross Nursery in Van Court Park took care of the calorie pear tree. By 2010, the tree was sturdy enough to be put back at Ground Zero, and it's there today. You can go touch it and look at it. After its recovery and rehabilitation, the tree was returned in 2010. Smooth limbs, growing very nicely, it's blooming again. And it soon became a symbol of our nation's enduring optimism and unbreakable spirit after the 9/11 attacks. So I like symbolism a lot. And today the tree stands as a living reminder of resilience, survival, and rebirth. And it does represent the changes we hope to have in our town. So John, Ron's going to share a screen with you. It's a little bit of a story that we put together, and it's also on YouTube. That's one of our firemen carrying the tree. We went to the Queens, New York to pick it up, and you see Stanhope and Hopatcong. That's everybody that went. We were well represented. One of the things that really helped us get this tree was they found out we had a memorial, and they saw our memorial, and that was the clincher. So this is a rare privilege and honor for us, Stanhope, and we also got one for the County College of Sussex. So to show you how special we are, this is all the places in the world. They only give away 4 or 5 trees a year. So we're in good company. So as you can see, that's why I'm so proud and so grateful. It's beyond words. You know, I know people that were there, and being a first responder, I understand that we run into places everybody else is running out of. I personally did chemical emergency response, and we're even crazier than the firemen, because even firemen are more careful than us. And we go in when the smoke is purple, and when the smoke is purple, the firemen don't even put water on it. So that's why it's so important that we continue to recognize, respect, and show an appreciation for our emergency responders, and that includes our rescue squads too, because we lost a few of them. And so we lost a few police officers, but the firemen really took it on the chin on this one. The first casualty on 9/11 was the fire department chaplain. He was standing there working with his men, and someone had jumped out of the 20th floor window and landed on him and killed him instantly. So a chaplain was the first casualty of 9/11. So just a little backstory. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion of, there's my dog. I love my dog.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.